Hey Karen, what's happening?
Oh, so nothing. It's just been a crazy week. All these new people coming to me talking about setting startups and stuff. And yeah, it's just been a lot. I think it's because January.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny though. I mean, I've been coaching business owners for God knows how long, and the one thing I've always seen is people get together, usually around holidays is always a good example. Hey, let's start a business. They go in with the best intentions, and it's doesn't end like that, unfortunately. They could be the best of friends, great acquaintances, whatever the case may be. Two good ideas come together and they start a company. And there's one crucial thing that I see time and time again that they don't take a moment to do, and it hurts both of them in the long run.
And yeah, I've seen it as well. Like I've seen families getting torn apart over
Torn
business.
apart, yeah.
Torn apart means they destroy each other.
That's it. And it's a simple thing. It's a partnership agreement.
Yes, that was one of the first things that me and you did for this.
Exactly. And I kind of explain it to people. I said, always when you get in a partnership, it's like you better get the agreement done first. And they're like, why? And I go, think of it like a marriage. This is the prenuptial of the marriage. And then I always hear from the business owners, what do you mean? We have a great idea. We're the best of friends. We get along on everything. And I go, that's what the intention is of marriage as well, but stuff happens. People get divorced still. But in a business, it goes deeper, not just two people
Mm.
separating. It affects families, two different families. It can affect other families if you have employees. It can affect assets. It can affect tax status. It goes on and on and on.
Yes. Oh no, you're right. And it's everyone's like, oh no. And I hear this a lot. And I'll be honest, I also do this too. But you've taught me to back it up with a partnership agreement. There's certain people like, okay, no, I'm feeling it. I'm always well, I'm woo. Okay, I'm woo. I'm
Yeah.
one with the universe. I have my crystals and my like witchy side and all this, and I get vibes. And my vibes tend to be pretty decent most of the time. But so it's like, no, but I'm getting along with them and it's gonna be so good and so fantastic and so wonderful. It's and it's burnt me.
Oh,
So since then, I have to have the vibe. I have to have the woo. If there's no vibe, there's no woo. There's no like feeling of alignment. If I don't have all that stuff that hits me on that metaphysical level, because you're more logical than me. I'm more like wee. I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to have that logical side kick in now with the partnership agreement too.
right.
It's a CYA.
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. I've had partners come to me going, we're one of the partners. The other partner's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. First question is, do you have a partnership agreement? Well, no. Okay. Then how do you resolve things? We usually talk it out, but this time we're not communicating. So you need a mediator at this point. Oh, we had tried that and it didn't work. And I'm thinking, okay, but now you have nothing to back up anything. You went in
Right.
with the best of intentions. You really, really did. You just didn't see the future of how business works and how life happens.
I want to throw a real explosion in your concept here. I know the answer to this. I know you know the answer to it, but everyone's going to argue with this. What about if the business is being created by a married couple? Do you
Oh,
still need the partnership agreement? Oh,
yes. And because I have seen it happen during the blow up. And I had both the couple come to me, we need help in our business. And I'm thinking, okay, they need, maybe operations, marketing. What is it? They can't get along in business. And they take their business home with them. Now, all their dinner conversations are about the business. They don't separate between personal and business. And all of a sudden it becomes like this. And the marriage is now blowing up. And I have seen partnerships between husband and wives, spouses, it unbelievable partnerships. And the one
Parents and
question,
children.
and with children, bringing them in the business. And I always ask them, do you have a partnership agreement with your spouse? And they always smile and they go, yeah, I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world, but yes, we do. And those businesses are thriving.
Yeah,
Why? What do you think?
clear expectation.
They
Clear
know what you
expectation is the
do.
first thing.
Yeah, it's clear cut who does what.
And so we've seen it. Like I said, I used to do it where I was just like, okay, let's go on with this and let's have fun, and got burnt, lost lots of money. And then, so now, personally, for me, if I don't vibe with them, it's not even going to get to a partnership
Mhm.
agreement because if I can't get along with them, I can't vibe with them, I can't feel that alignment, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But I will always have a partnership agreement. And I've always recommended spouses get it. If you do it father and son, whatever,
Whatever
parent
the
and
case.
child, I don't care if you've been best friends since for the last 37 years,
Yeah.
partnership agreement. So
I
what's
got
in
to,
one?
yeah, I got to tell a story because I had a client one time. The partners came to me, and I'm thinking, wow, they kind of seem on edge with each other, and I couldn't put my finger on it. So I start talking to them, and I go, okay, guys, do you have a partnership agreement by the chance? And they go, yes, we do. It's actually written on a napkin, framed in our office, and we had it turned into a legal document after we did that. And I was thinking, so you wrote your partnership agreement on napkin? Yeah, in a bar. The whole thing. Yep. And
Hmm.
they've been around for 20 years in business, upholding their partnership agreement. That wasn't the issue in their business. They wanted to bring on a partner. And I go, by the way, did you put that in your partnership agreement? And they go, no. Time to write an addendum into your
Yeah.
partnership agreement. And they were like, we never thought that we can amend our own partnership agreement. I'm like,
Or
well,
you
yeah, your
can bend them
business is gonna
anything.
evolve.
Yeah. So if we were to break it down, we have person A and person B. They have this amazing idea, don't know what it is, don't really care, and they want to bring a partnership. What is it that they need to create?
The first thing they need to sit down and work on who does what. Because now that's also going to affect percentages too, like voting and who overrides who. How does that agreement get or disagreement get resolved?
Hmm.
By determining you do, I do, we're now clear cut in our lanes.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I would say, because the next step I would say after that, now you can determine what if we don't agree on something. And I've done this with my partnership agreements. Let's put a litmus test in. Whose world does it fall under? And that's how I kind of phrase it. So like Karen does different things than I do. So
Hmm.
we're going to use our partnership agreement.
Okay.
If it falls under Karen's world, like it's closer to what she does in her alignment and her mission, guess what? She outvotes me. Simple as that. If it's under mine, I outvote her. And it's
Yeah.
clear, it actually states that in the agreement.
It absolutely does. And it also, I believe I remember correctly, because I read it, signed it, did all the things. That we also have the opportunity to have a discussion if we're not in disagreement first, to present our
First.
opposing opportunities, like, hey, this is what I'm looking at and this is what I'm seeing. Then
Mhm.
you go, well, I'm looking at this and seeing this. We put that all on the table. And it's at that point, if we're still not, we're like, it falls to the person with the specialty in that
Right.
situation. It's not, you just don't walk into the room and go, well, this is my world, so we're doing it this way.
Nope. It's a
There's a
partnership.
discussion clause right there at the beginning.
Absolutely. And you got to put these little things in. I know everyone thinks it's all rosy at the beginning, but you don't know what's going to happen in your business.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to have you think on this one. Do you know that there's one thing you should always have in a partnership agreement that I've seen destroy businesses? There's many, but we'll take
There's
one of the
many.
top
There's one of them that has always the one that I've seen destroy a lot of businesses is to do with what that person brings to the table and what they can and cannot do outside of the partnership.
That's one of them. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like I do this, I'm doing this with this partner, and it's not defining whether it's not, well, if this is what they do as a business separately, well, they can continue to do that as a
Mhm.
business separately, but they can't use the stuff we do. Or I've seen partnership agreements where they try and tell them that they can no longer have a business outside. And it's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, there's many forms of it. It could be just two people, that's the business. It could be
Hmm.
two businesses coming together to create a third business. And I've had those, and in those agreements, we detailed what you can't do in our group, like poach from each other's clientele. And one of my
Oh,
partners
yeah.
did that, and it actually had in our partnership the repercussions of it. And I exercised all that because we put it in there to protect ourselves. That's the real reason. You're creating this partnership agreement to protect the business and each other. It's
Right.
not to stick it to the other person. Don't
No. And the other one I've seen is financial.
financial. It's how the
Financial.
money is separated, gained, everything. I'm even thinking one deeper, and I've had so many of these conversations. It almost puts me into tears because I see people's lives getting destroyed over it.
Hmm.
So, folks, I'm gonna use this example. Okay, Karen and I are partners in a business, 50-50, right? I get hit by a bus. I die.
Oh, yeah.
Guess who now owns 50% of the business? Well, if I was married, it would be my spouse now is Karen's partner. And if Karen hates my spouse, guess what? She has a new partner.
Hmm.
This I've seen
And that could
time and
kill.
time again do happen.
And especially if your spouse has no idea what this business is about. And
Exactly.
because a lot of people are like, well, my spouse would be able to handle it, or my son, or my daughter, or my
Mm.
child. But they're in a completely different
Different world.
industry and they have no idea what this industry is.
Exactly. I'll even take it a step further because I've seen this happen, unfortunately. So let's say now my future ex-spouse is your partner. You guys don't get along. She has different visions of the business. She wants to sell it or go a different direction. You want to stay the track. You should have clauses in there how to buy them out, how
Hmm.
to replace it, how they can get out, how you can get out. And my favorite is something called key man insurance should always be involved. So in this situation, say we have key man insurance on each other. Karen, the business, and Karen gets this life insurance policy. Now, my unknown spouse is the partner. Karen goes, I'm exercising a clause in the partnership agreement to buy them out, and they're gone.
Hmm.
Thank you, life insurance.
Right. You can't predict tomorrow.
Can't
You just
predict.
can't. And you have to have things in place to say it because I have seen them not have it and not know what to do, and the whole business dissolve because they're just lost and wandering.
Right. And we all don't know what's going to happen in the future, but the partnership agreement is there to protect the business and the partners. It's a
Mhm.
cover your ass kind of moment. And
Yeah.
I try to explain that it's the same as a prenuptial. If you're bringing everything to the table in a business, everything, oh, we're going to run everything through my existing business. I'm going to just change the name, and you're now going to be my silent partner because there's equity partners, there's active partners, there's many types of partnership, folks. We're
Yes.
not going to go down that rabbit hole today.
Oh, that'll take hours.
It would take hours. And I've taken on equity partners who thought, I own 10% of your business. And I go, wait a minute. You actually gave me a loan, an interest loan that is not a percentage of my business. I pay you back interest. You get a return on your investment. Thank you very much. You're not a partner. And
Hmm.
I think I see this all the time. So if your aunt, Karen, gives you $10,000 for your business, is that an equity stake or a loan?
depends on how I write up the partnership agreement.
Exactly. Because it's now
If
between
it's
you and your
even,
aunt.
yeah, it's if I write it as a partnership and she becomes an equity partner owning a percentage of the business,
Mhm.
then okay, we've seen this on Shark Tank, right? They give
All the
so much
time.
money and like, okay, so we now own 32% and I get a $1.50 royalty on each thing until I'm paid, whatever. These are all forms of partnership agreements. You're just not seeing the actual writing, but they're negotiating a section of a partnership agreement in real time.
Right. And I always say, put things in your partnership, how to bring on a partner. Let's say,
Mhm.
okay, Karen and I are partners, and then all of a sudden we realize we're growing our business. We looked at things. There's another segment we'd like to bring into our business, but neither of us are the expert in that area.
Mhm.
We both know somebody who is that expert. We go back to our partnership agreement, look at it because it details out how to bring on another partner.
How
Now,
to vet, how to vote, how to split.
everything. So now we agree on it. Then we have to do an addendum, obviously, to bring on a third, but we can actually make addendums to our current agreement as we learn things and
Mhm.
bring on that third partner. Now we'll have a new partnership agreement. Karen and I will still exist.
Yes.
It has an addendum for a third person that overrides many features that are in the original, but not the entire agreement.
Yeah, it's not the intent, it's just to allow for the expansion.
Exactly.
Yeah. But this is the thing is when you people are starting a business and they're all excited and all giggly and like
Hey, just like a relationship.
just like relationship, like you're all like, oh my God, that's
They're
been so
the
long.
best. Nothing will ever go wrong. We're gonna be in love forever.
This is ever and ever and ever and you have to be prepared for different things. But there's also, and I think this is the one that most people miss. And I know you always write them in, and then you wrote it into ours, and I actually said, "Hey, can we just clarify this one line?" Because it was clear, but you just needed a tiny tweak to clarify it more. What if we have no control if things like laws change?
Mhm.
We have no control if things like how tax stuff is set up change. We have no control, like because we have set ourselves up as an actual business. With it was one of the first things we did. We didn't just like go, "Woo, we're having fun and playing the game." No, we have business. We have business finances. We have all that is done, but we cannot control if any of those laws change. So we even have a section that says, should any governing laws, legal, financial things change while we're in business, this is how we will remedy them under our partnership agreement. With the primary being, we will always make sure that we are held to the legal standards required. But if, for example, it says, well, LLCs. And I know I doubt this is ever going to change because they've been around for oh my god, I don't know how long. It's been so ridiculously long, right? LLCs no longer exist. You have 60 days to either become a S corp, a corporation, or a public company. The partnership agreement is going to say, well, within 60 days, we guarantee we will remain compliant with the law, but we have a decision of which three directions we're going to go. So you'll have, how do you have that conversation? How do we
Yeah.
make that decision to be compliant?
Yeah, I'll give you an example on that. There was that clause in a partnership agreement. They were in a highly federally regulated industry. I'm not going to say which one
Mm,
because there's so many.
no, so many.
The feds changed the laws on that industry and the rules that one person couldn't have certain kinds of convictions against them. One of
Oh,
the
okay.
partners had those convictions. Therefore, they had to change the partnership percentage per federal law because this one person had a bad background.
Mm,
And it was in the clause, they had to rewrite the partnership agreement with all the new percentages. But we also figured out how to do some back end stuff. So the partner who lost most of the percentage still got paid. So we added a wage clause into his and a percentage to equal back out what the feds just did to him.
Right. And there's also, it's just talking about legal stuff. What will you do if something legal happens?
We actually have that. I have that in many partnership agreements because thank God. Uh, I had a partner, yeah, get arrested for not a local, simple little slap on the hand crime. He did some bad stuff, and I did not, in his other business, did not know anything about it. I read it in the business journal.
Hmm.
That's how I found out. Contacted him, can't get a hold of him. His lawyer ended up calling me a couple days later. I said, yeah, he's still in jail, federal offense, this and that. And I executed with that his lawyer, I executed our partnership agreement that he is now automatically removed from the partnership and I regained 100% because it was in the agreement. Now I'm
Okay.
scrambling to find a partner to do what he did because that
Okay.
wasn't my world.
But you have to have those things in because you can't predict. So this partnership agreement, the reason we're telling it is, I was going to say, I think in the last year alone, I've probably done over 200 mentorship calls with people who are starting out in business, just 15, 20-minute calls. They
Mhm.
have a partner. The percentage of people that are working with someone in their business that had a partnership agreement, do you want to take a guess of what it was?
I'd say less than 3%.
Less than 2%.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's
virtually
shocking.
none of them. They were like, but no, we've been best friends since like
Hmm.
kindergarten. I understand that, but it's not just about can you get along. It's about what if things happen that are beyond your control.
Yeah. I'll tell you another funny story. I actually got deposed because I was working with the company partners. They got in an argument, sued each other, and they found out I was coaching them, or the lawyers did. So deposed me to disclose what we talked about in those meetings. And I have a pretty stiff confidentiality. So I'm walking the line. I'm starting to find out they both just started hating each other one day.
And sometimes you know why, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
So-
But they didn't have a partnership agreement that covered a lot of this stuff. And I kept trying to get that to them, and they refused to pull the trigger because we're best friends.
yeah. And I just want to clarify one thing right here because we keep saying partnership agreement. We constantly saying partnership agreement. And we've compared it to marriage and stuff. I think this is the biggest misconception. A partnership agreement does not apply for only two people in business together. You can have 20 people on a partnership agreement. You can have 50 people on a partnership agreement.
Yeah.
I mean, currently we're working on one that's got a potential of 10 people
Mhm.
to make sure that they're guided along. Still a partnership agreement. It doesn't mean it has to be two. And the more people you have, the more important this is. And you need to include things like NDAs, what their ownership is of what they're bringing to the table versus what they do. What happens if a law changes? What happens if a system changes? What happens if death, arrest, uh, loss of a license? Because I've seen this as well. There was a partnership agreement in a medical based office. I'm not going to say which medical it was, and one of the partners actually lost their license after a malpractice style lawsuit. They lost their license for that. Yet they were actually a 60% partner in the partnership agreement because they had started the office. They didn't have in their card what would happen if someone lost their license.
Mhm.
And because now they could no longer practice within that office, a lot of work had to be picked up by other people and bringing other people in, and it caused a mess, huge
Good.
mess.
I hope people you're all getting that it's a little bit of prevention that will help you down the road. It looks all rosy now. I kid, that's great. But why not put a little bit of prevention to keep your business going in case of those bad things? It's like insurance, right? You can't buy insurance after the bad thing happened. You have
Right.
to buy the insurance now in case of the bad thing happening. Same thing with a partnership agreement. Get it in place to protect your business, protect yourselves, protect your families, protect other livelihoods as well.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be, it does not have to be a 100-page agreement. There's all different ways.
I think ours is like 5 or 6 pages.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But ours is pretty cut and dry and simple. It also helps that we've done this stuff between the both of us so many times
yeah.
that we don't need drawn out explanations under each clause because we know exactly what those phrases mean.
Yeah.
But
I had a partnership agreement with someone for a mastermind group. It was a 3-page agreement that included the signature page. The reason why, it was so clear cut. There was no loopholes.
yeah. So I think to wrap this up, I asked one question for you. I'm really going to put you on the spot, and I think this is going to help people. I have 5 fingers up. Okay. If I was to say, what are the 5 things that need to be in every partnership agreement? Simply, like, first section is what? What is the first thing you need to clarify in a partnership agreement?
You do, I do. What
Okay.
each partner does.
Okay. Second,
Decide how you're going to resolve arguments, disagreements, ideas. We even have it on our idea. It- like if we both come to the table with 2 different ideas, we have a litmus test. Does this
mhm,
fulfill our mission of our business? Yes or no? And if the second we say that, maybe mine doesn't and Karen's does.
and
Simple.
if I think mine does, and you're
Mhm.
like, well, I don't think it does, I get the opportunity to explain why I think it
Exactly.
does. You have the opportunity to ask me follow-up questions.
Yep.
And then once we've done that, we go back to the litmus test.
That's it.
It's not a, well, no, your idea doesn't fulfill the answer. There's a Q&A part. Okay,
Yeah.
so what each person does, if you get into an argument or a disagreement, the third,
Percentages. Who does, how you're going to split up profits, expenses, everything. That should all be detailed to death into that agreement.
is also percentage of who shows up for what.
Yeah. I know someone I had a partnership agreement. It was an 80-20 agreement. Why? Because they did 20%, but their 20% fed the 80%. So if they didn't do their 20%, 80% wasn't happening.
Right. And then we'll just be honest, ours is a post 50-50.
Right.
We've got our set up so every expense, every potential future expense is accounted for, and then the remainder is split. So we're not even 50-50 off the bat. We're accounting for things first. Okay, so percentages. What's the fourth?
Next one is, I would say, adding a partner, deleting a partner, removing a partner, any of those. Death of a partner, income. We even have, oh, if one of us gets disabled, that's in our agreement.
Yeah,
And it says, what is the level of disability?
yeah. Is it a disability that means they can't? So, for example, if one of us, Val Kilmer, let's use Val Kilmer as an
Yeah.
example. Extremely talented actor with a long repertoire. Something happened and he had lost a lot of his ability to speak. Could he fulfill the things he was doing before?
No.
No. Now, if he had done something like we've got other people like, oh my goodness, and why am I forgetting her name right now? Selma Blair. Once she got herself figured out for where she was, some of her ability was how she walks and moves around. Could she still do a lot of the stuff she was doing before if we could account for moving around? Yes. So it's how does it affect them? So we've got partnership arrangement changes for death, disability, leaving, quitting, adding, expanding. Fifth and final.
Oh, the fifth and final. That one's a tough one because there's so many different, you can interchange this one so many different ways.
Yeah.
Because it also
This is your
deals,
starter. This is the starter partnership
starter.
agreement. This is like,
Yeah, it's always, it's the death, that's the addition. Those are the biggie things. But it's also, okay, dissolution of the organization. So let's say we both come to the agreement, we're both done. But I like the name and we came up with the name together. I want the name. I want the website address. I want the domain. I'll change the website, but I want that. And you're like, why? We're killing the company. But I want it. So how to dissolve the company should be in there too. It sounds crazy, but I've seen it happen where one partner all of a sudden, the 11 and a half hour, I want the name
Yeah. I think we can actually tie dissolution with that dissolution and expansion because I've seen
and expand.
partners.
Yeah.
I think hey, we're doing this thing where we're constantly growing, and I think we should add additional offices, or
Hmm.
I think we should move into Canada, or I think we should add European offices. So I think dissolution and expansion both have really heavy weights on,
Yes.
and you need to be prepared for both.
It's funny. I just watched a documentary around an organization that the main person decided to leave. The others kept the name and the business going. The main person owned the name. So they both had to have the same name per the court. The court finally said, the main person, you lost the name.
Mhm. I have a relative who is in the legal sphere, and when they retired, he had created a whole chain of legal offices with his name on it. And of course, for what he did, and I'm not going to go into like details, so you can go look him up or anything or at that. You won't get it easily with my name. It would actually have killed the whole practice to
Mhm.
lose his name off it. So in their dissolution agreement, where he went his own way, he actually signed a reoccurring agreement that was passed down from him to his children, to their children, to their children, where there was a percentage of the profits continually paid to his family in order to keep his name as the primary name on the business. Didn't do a single other
Yeah.
thing with him from that day, but every year he got a nice little check. And then when he passed, his wife got it. And when she passed, their sons got, because they had two sons, it got split between the two sons and so on.
Yeah, I've had partnership agreements where I sold off, like it ended and I still got my residual income for the next 5 years per the agreement because we set
Yeah.
it up at the beginning. Now, if I tried to do it at the end, everyone's emotional. It wouldn't have happened. And that's why I say
Yeah.
you got to get your partnership agreement whenever you're all feeling all lovey-dovey, because when bad things happen, people get emotional. Take out the logic just goes out the door because you're
Yeah.
emotional. And this is a business situation. So get the partnership and agreement early. You can amend it as time goes on, and you will because your business hopefully will evolve.
So I have one final question for you. And then we're going to ask people to comment and give us something because I think you need to create a checklist for partnership agreements and let's throw it onto a link on the website just as a resource. We're not
Yeah,
going to go into detail, just like 5 to 10 questions that your partnership agreement should answer, right?
yeah.
A one pager. No, this is not legal advice. No, we're not telling you
Nope.
what to do. These are just questions that you should be speaking about in order to create with either templates you can find online or someone who has legal standing. I prefer
Get,
legal standing, but I know if you're in that finance, you can start with a template and as you get money in, then get verified and vetted.
I think this is something you just brought up, and a lot of business owners don't realize this. Okay, we created a partnership. I have tons of them in my resources. We did it just for this business,
Mm-hmm.
and we went back and forth, made the changes. It got signed. Guess what, folks? We don't need a lawyer. Here's the easiest thing to do. You go down to your bank, get it notarized.
Notarized.
Done.
Yeah, done.
Legal
And
document.
legal document. And then my final question, other than now I've just given you some homework to have done before this podcast airs. I know you'll have it. I know you'll have it done like in 12 minutes because you probably already have it on your
Yeah,
immense hard drive somewhere.
I've had this conversation too many times with business owners.
How often should a company or a partnership revisit that agreement?
Well, I know we've done, or my in my past partnerships, we every year, right around near the end of the year, holidays, we get together, have dinner together,
Hmm.
even though we've been talking all year long. This is a different conversation. Okay, we're only going to pull out our partnership agreement. What needs to be changed and altered for the upcoming year? So we did it
Hmm.
annually over dinner right there as humans. So we're having a better environment, relaxed, and we're not talking about anything else in the business, just our agreement. And it's worked out usually pretty good every year. And I've seen it with husband and wives, same thing. Spouses, family members, you should be
And,
looking at
and some years you won't change a thing.
it. Exactly.
And some years you will. And then I will say the one thing that I think me and you have done, and we haven't had anything to change our agreement so far, but we have a central hub document, like shared file system where we put all
Mhm.
our details. And if something comes up, like Steve, you're big into business law, you have always got your eye on it. I'm big into marketing, two separate sides. If something comes up that's going to impact us on marketing and might impact our agreement, I'll throw it in the hub saying, hey, FYI, we don't have to discuss this until it becomes something or our annual review, but I wanted to make sure you were aware this is going on. You would say, oh my, I think a great example, because I think we both blew away. I don't know how many people I had this conversation with. I had one of it with you, and you turned around to me afterwards and went, this person's a CPA. Was there was a the beneficiary addendum to the IRS, and they had no clue about it. I was like, yeah, you have to make sure that you're signing your beneficiary addendums, because this was to make sure that who had what control and who did what and how to verify them. Things like that. We have a central hub to throw that information in as it comes up to make each other aware of it. So nothing's a shocker. So do that. Have a central place where you can upload info, just like, hey, were you aware of this?
Exactly. But I can't stress enough. If you're going to start a business with anyone, relative, friend, acquaintance, whatever it is, get a partnership
Mhm.
agreement right away. Define all what they do, what you do. Get detailed in it. Get as detailed as you like.
Yeah.
It'll save you. I promise it'll save you
Yeah.
down.
And I think for comments, we want to hear your best and worst stories. And redact names. It doesn't have to be a you story that this happened to you. It could be, well, you know somebody, but call them Susie, or call them Jenny, or call them whatever. What are some of the funniest stories that you've heard that have either worked out amazing? Because
I
some
wouldn't
have.
say any of these have been funny that I have been a part of. They've been
I have seen
sad
some funny
because they
ones.
didn't have a partnership agreement. And it really hurt me
Yeah.
to see their lives getting destroyed over a disagreement.
I had a funny one where someone thought that with their partnership agreement they were due a lot more, and they absolutely threw this little hissy fit. And then they found out what they actually got from the partnership agreement was worth 10 times what they were imagining. And they almost signed it back to the person going, well, you're screwing me over. And then they were like, oh crap, you actually just did me this huge solid. Like,
Mhm.
what the hell? You know, so have it. Tell me some of the stories you've heard. You can redact names, redact companies. We don't need to know anyone's dirty laundry, but you can vibe it out.
Yeah, so put those comments. Let's hear them in the comments section. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh,
Yeah.
Karen, I
Yeah.
forgot. We have a group going on.
Oh, yeah. Can you? I know we said we're going to put the checklist in the podcast notes for them to download. For the accountability group to go, I think we can bonus it. Could you do like an even better breakdown for them so they understand? Maybe throw up a very basic template that they can see to follow in our accountability group as a freebie if they're in there.
Oh, into the accountability group about partnerships.
Yeah, just throw up like a template. It'll be like a nice little bonus for them, I think.
Yeah. And I think
Not
that,
legal advice.
not
Template,
legal advice.
idea,
Yeah.
idea.
Folks, and if you also want to get in the accountability group, take a look at the links below. We'll get you in there. I swear to God, we have seen the magic happen. They're fast and furious, but it holds you accountable to, well, your own goals, not ours, not anybody else's, to yours. And it's amazing by you saying your goals, your weekly goals out loud in front of other people who are there to support you. Amazing transformations in your business.
Oh my gosh, so amazing. It really pushes you forward. So,
Mm.
well, till next time, Steve, I think you've given people a lot to think about. I'm wondering
Yeah.
how many are scrambling right now to come up with a partnership agreement.
Yeah. Where do I even start? Well, let us know.
Yeah,
We
well,
can help you out.
a little bit, not a lot, not legal.
Not legal advice, folks. So we've seen it, and we always recommend. I've helped people create partnership agreements, and my next question is after they agree on it, okay, when are you going to take it to your lawyer to have them review it?
And if you don't have a lawyer, when are you going to take it to be notarized? So at
Yeah.
least it has standing until you can have a lawyer look at it.
Yeah. Because having a lawyer look at it, they're going to find things that maybe you missed about state law, federal law. It's amazing. Mine, I thank God I have a lawyer who looks at my stuff, and every now and then I just, take care of him, and we have a great trade relationship, and it's been gold. He looks over all my
Absolutely.
contracts.
As I say, I had a lawyer look at something of mine and said, just to cover your ass, put this, this, and this in, and I did.
That's it.
And then the next day, I got a client from Canada, and he had just had me put a Canadian legal provision in that covered me in case I ended up in Canada. And
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, thank you.
All right, folks, let's hear those
Uh,
comments. And I say, until next time, this is Karen and Steve for
well,
Tea and Coffee Hub. Bye.
tea and coffee. Bye. Thanks for joining us on the Tea and Coffee Hub podcast today. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation and it left you inspired, equipped, and ready to take your next step, whether that's in life, business, or maybe both.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future episodes, and connect with us online and in person. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Until next time,
Keep sipping,
keep growing,
take action,
and stop making